Well, good evening, everyone. Sorry, I had to do a quick adjustment to my camera. So sorry if it's still a little bouncy, but hey, welcome tonight. Linda Lou here from Linda Lou Creates. And yeah, like I said, I cannot get enough of these in colors. The new ones are just fabulous. They're fun, they're bright, they're cheerful, they're everything that makes me happy. So I wanted to share them with you. Now, one of the new suites in the new annual catalog, the paper, the designer series paper includes all of the in colors. So I thought I would share that all tonight. So this is the Tea Boutique designer series paper. It's at the very beginning of the catalog. And you know me, I love doing the designs, the backgrounds with the strips. Now these are 1/2 inch strips, just cut them. So they started off at 1/2 inch by 6 and just played around with them. So let's get started. Since I have 3, I don't normally do 3. I felt lucky to have gotten 3 done. So this is the one I want to get started with tonight. So let me bring in the supplies. So I have actually all 3 of them. The card base is my favorite, top folding. That means it's 11, 4 1/4, and this score line is at 5 1/2. All right, now this one, the white paper for the front that I'm going to put the strips on. This one measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. A little bit smaller than what I usually do, but that is because to be able to come across the diagonal, I did need to make it a little bit smaller. So just kind of what I had in my head, how it was going to work, that's what it is. The black, basic black. Now, believe it or not, I am just completely throwing everybody, myself included, is 1/4 inch bigger. So that means it's 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. So, and then I have just a strip here, 1/2 inch wide. It's got my sentiment on, and my sentiment comes from the Cup of Tea stamp set. So pulled that in as well as the designer series paper. So let me shuffle some things around here. Now, here are some of my strips. I just cut a boatload of them. These are actually the little pieces that I've cut off. And you'll see here that sometimes you just need just a little hint. So I didn't throw them all away. You know what? I also included in here, just to give me a nice variety to help out with the pattern that's in here, is I did cut some strips. Where is one here? So like this is the Tahitian Tide. These are from the pack of 6x6 that's in all of the in colors. So the new in colors, I should say. So I did add some of these into it just because I felt like I needed something a little neutral to be included here. Now, all I'm going to do is, don't look at my adhesive. This is the snail that is no longer available, but I'll tell you what, I stockpiled on it. I have a lot of it, and I want to use it up. So all I'm going to do is go around the corners. I'm going to add some strips of it here and there. Now let me tell you, you could use one of those adhesive sheets and cover this whole front, and that's fine. You could do that. So up to you. I just like throwing this on super quick. I also like to, when I start, is go do my diagonal first. So I will go corner to corner, and kind of wherever it falls is where it's going to be. So there we go. There's my starting point. Now it's just a matter of putting the strips right up against. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Just get started. Yeah, now you're going to make me have to do all this talking, and you're going to be sorry, aren't you? So anyway, I hope everyone had a great weekend. We did. and it's kind of quiet, and I kind of like it that way sometimes. So, but yeah, from my papers, I'll tell you what, I am just grabbing and putting down. So I know I'm usually one who likes the liquid glue, but I just find that this goes a little bit quicker. So let me go ahead now and bring this across to here. Sorry, I'm turning it all around on you, so you're probably going to get dizzy by the time I'm done here. But just make sure that it's nice and tight up against the previous strip. And let's do, this looks like I could use a little purple right next to it. Not my favorite color, but we will make use of it. Now, once I get this all covered, I'm just going to go ahead with my scissors and trim this all this excess off. So, see, I still have a little bit of time that I can lift if I didn't quite get it in place. So, not a problem there. Here we go. You don't always have to like match colors or anything. That's what's the beauty of this, is you have all of these strips and you can just go for it. You have just that little piece. Once again, like I said, I am going to put in, let me find one of those little corners that here we go. So make sure, you know what, there isn't any adhesive right there. So now's when I'm going to get my liquid glue out. I'll just drop a little bit onto there. And voila, that corner now is covered. All right, let's get this finished up. So this is the Orchid Oasis. So here's that. What other colors do I need? A little bit of green, more green maybe. So you can tell this is one that I already had used and cut it. And here's a good one. This has, and I'm sorry, I keep seeming to bump the my phone, and it's going to make it bounce on you guys. So my apologies. So here's another one then that I have this little piece of the corner. Doesn't have any adhesive on it. So let me just put a drop of glue there, and fine. Now here we go. Here's a piece. Okay, looks awful right now, doesn't it? So don't worry, this is where we'll now flip it over and make it look real pretty. And just start cutting things off. These pieces now, I do save them for other cards when I do this, because I think this is a great way to use up scraps. I didn't happen to have scraps when I was thinking about this, so I mean, honestly, I just cut these 1/2-inch strips from the paper. So you can cut, you know, a bunch, 1 or 2, however many. So, you know, or like I said, use your scraps. So here we go. I feel like I've done this a couple times and shared it on my videos, but this one, there's a story behind the next one that I will tell you about. So here we go. Cool. Isn't it funny how each one, no matter what, looks a little different? So let me, yeah, I'm going to turn it that way. So let me get my stuff out of the way. Bring in my basic black layer. I love using the black against the white card base. It just really makes everything pop. So here we go with that. Now this card is relatively simple. There is this cool background, a nice technique there, but to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit, I don't even know if that is a word. Right now we're going to make it one. But to zhuzh it up, I'm going to actually pop this layer up. So let me go ahead and I'm going to use these bits around the outside of my dimensionals here. All right, so these strips then make it nice and easy to get the ends taken care of. So here we go. I probably need to cut this one down. Oh, actually, no, I think I'll be able to get this one across. No problem. So obviously I'm using the black ones. The white ones can certainly be used as well. I remember asking Stampin' Up at one time, or writing as a demonstrator, we can write thoughts, ideas of product. And I remember typing in there going, we need black dimensionals. And yeah, I like to pretend like I'm taking credit for it. I know it wasn't me alone. I know there was a bunch of others, but it's fun to see that they do listen. So, all right, where else do I have some more of my black dimensionals, some of the bigger ones? Here we go. So let's go ahead, fill it in real quick here. I love these outside pieces because you can really make it go quick. All right, so there we go. There is all of my dimensionals. I know, I swear some people are fainting whenever they see how much I cover the back of my cards with all the dimensionals. So, but that is my thing. So, all right, let's get that last one. And here we go. So like I say, sometimes just something as simple as popping this layer up, I feel like it just adds a little something to it. So let me bring in, here's my, whoops, 1/2 inch strip that I then punched the banner at the end here with the banner pick-a-punch. So was able to get that. I have tried to cut my banners with my scissors and I am terrible at it. So I rely on the punch, I'll be honest with you. So, hey, let's add a little bit of bling here as soon as I kind of clear off my space. And the bling is going to come in the form of these matte dots in all of the in colors. So let's see, which one do I want? I'm going to go with this one right here. So here and here. Whoops. That's it. So just something simple and you're letting the paper sing. So looks kind of different from this one, doesn't it? And all it is, it's the papers, just how they're arranged in the different ones that are in there. So, all right, so that's card number 1. Let's move on to card number 2. And this is the one with the story behind it. So I want to get all of my things here. So first up, same thing as far as the 1/2 inch strips. Now, my story is one of my downline, Beth, does quilting, and she shares a lot of her quilts with me. And the one that she showed me, it was strips. Hers were at a diagonal, but then with the stitching over top, I was like, oh, I could see a card made like that. So it's funny where we get our inspiration. So thank you, Beth, for that. Now, I put the strips down the same way I just did, and then came in with, let me grab it so I can show you, the stitched Greenery Die. Now, this does not cut anything out. All it does is put in the stitching. It's going to bring it on up here, and I hope you can see it all in here. So it's all covered. So the first thing I did was lay down my strips. Now, first of all, the piece that I put my strips down on, let me just give you the measurements for this, and then I'm going to explain something about this. And this I measured 3.5 by 4 3/4. So then my black mat for behind it then is, again, 1/4 of an inch bigger. Surprise, surprise. That means that it's 3 3/4 by 5. Now, this is printer paper. This is not cardstock. And this is where my mind was thinking about it. Once I put all of my strips on it, just like I did the previous card, I put the adhesive down. Let me go ahead and do that. So let's get the adhesive. And I just wanted to make my strips go vertical. So it was just to kind of change it up a bit. So let me just add a couple more things of adhesive here. Okay. So I went ahead on this paper, on this printer paper, and again, I just lined up this long edge. Now, I'm not going to be able to talk and do this at the same time. So, there we go. And then again, I just, all the way through. I made sure that my measurement was going to make it that I can put these 1/2 inch strips and fill it up. So if I were to have, so that's why this measures across here 3.5, so that I could get all of these 1/2 inch strips and it fit. I didn't want one of them to have to be trimmed down and not be symmetrical. So once I covered the entire piece with my strips, I came in then and ran through my die cut machine the stitched Greenery Die. I was concerned that if I had paper on top of cardstock, I just didn't know how it was going to come out with the stitching that I really wanted it to shine. So that's why I went with printer paper. I try it with the cardstock. I did not. I just thought, and then if I wanted to, maybe cut a shape out of this, I thought I need to use just something that's thinner. So that's why I went with the printer paper. I may be thinking too much into it and being a little goofy about it, but that was where my mind went and why I used the printer paper. All right, so of course I have one already done, so that I already did the stitching, or the die, that stitched greenery on it. Isn't that awesome seeing that? I love it. I really do. So let me go ahead, find my glue. Here it is. And let's get this card put together. So I'm not going to have you sit and watch me put the strips all down, because it's done the very same way. The thing is, you might have to trim down depending on, how well you lined up everything. But it's good. All is good. It'll all work out. And I think that's there again why I did then the 1/4 inch mat, was to kind of hide any mistakes that I might have done with this piece here. All right, let me find some more of my dimensional ends. Let's get these on. So here we go. So, because of course I'm going to pop this up. Everything else is the same in regards to the way I put it together. So yeah, even putting dimensionals down, apparently I can't speak at the same time. All right, so here we go. So guys, tell me, how was your weekend? What did everybody do? At work, where I work, I teach martial arts, and we had a Mother's Day workout on Saturday, and the moms came in with their children, and they had a blast. We had the kids present then flowers to their moms, and the mothers loved it. I made I made tags to put on the flowers, and they really turned out cute, but there were 80, yes, that's 80 of them to make. And so yeah, it took up a lot of my time, I'll be honest with you. So, but they really were cute. So it was tulips that we gave them. So yeah, the moms were really, really happy with it. Plus they got a good workout in. So yeah, it worked out well. So I'm waiting for all the moms to ask, who made these adorable tags? I would like to be a customer of yours. So anyway, so here we go. Let me turn this around. Sometimes you have to pay attention to your paper. So this one is directional here, this strip. So that was the only thing I wanted to be sure and pay attention to. So, all right, so here you go. I have some dimensionals on the back of my little 1/2-inch strip with my same sentiment on. And come on, off my finger. There we go. So here it goes. And then I'm going to add some of the matte dots. Let me see. These are my favorite. One of my favorite colors here is this Tahitian Tide. So there we go. So same strips, same idea with the strips, just making it look quilted, I guess, by adding that stitched greenery die with it. So, okay, card number 2 is done. Now, I probably should have started with this one. Instead of using the pattern paper, I just went with the cardstock. And again, 1/2-inch strips. My white is 3 3/4 by 5. So my strips are 1/2 inch by 3 3/4. All right. And then here on this last one, I just, again, the same sentiment, but I heat embossed it this time. So that meant I stamped it in Versamark, sprinkled on the white embossing powder, tapped that off. That powder sticks to the Versamark being like a sticky ink. And then you use a heat tool and melt that powder until it's shiny. And it's gorgeous. So that's the heat embossing. So I just thought of keeping this one super simple in that regards. But do you notice the background here? Yeah, I had to put in that stitched greenery because it was just too pretty not to. So here we go again. Let me bring in my strips. Here is my stitched greenery, my card base. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing down my strips. I will start with this one. I feel like there's a couple blues here, the 2 blues, and the orchid color, the kind of purpley blue, purple. So I wanted to separate them. So here being the Starry Sky, this being the Orchid Oasis, Sweet Sorbet, Parakeet Party. I just wanted to separate the 3 purpley blue colors. So that's why I went with this arrangement then. So let me go ahead, get the Sweet Sorbet adhered down. And then obviously, yep, I'm just using liquid adhesive here. And I'm going to have to turn this upside down so I can see what I'm doing. And right up against the Tahitian Tide it goes. Okay. Orchid Oasis is next. Now, as you know, I'm not a purple person, but I do like this one. It's not that in-your-face purple. It has enough blue in it that I can tolerate it Sorry to say, for all you purple lovers out there. I still use purple though, and lavender, and the Highland Heather, but not a lot. So, and now the last one, which is the Starry Sky. This one is a blue, more blue, but there is definitely some red in it, giving you that purple kind of hint in there, I think. So, all right, so here are my strips of color. Now I can see I did a bad job cutting some of them, so I'm just going to flip it over and make sure that I have them all good in that regards. All right, so again, just to kind of, zhuzh it up like I've been saying is, I'm going to go ahead and add some dimensionals to the back of this. So here we go. I don't want any sag to happen, so I like to start with the outline of it, and then I do add on the inside as well. So we do not like to have any sag, do we? So all right, well, let me see if I have this one. Yep, pretty good there. All right, let's start filling in now. Whoops. And let me cut this one again too. So, and one here. Okay, time to fill in the middle, which I will use again the outside pieces to help me fill in the middle. Sorry, I think I keep going out of screen, don't I? Okay. This is like watching paint dry, isn't it? Watching me put down all of the dimensionals that I love to use. So, okay. So here we go. Let me clear off the spot and start ripping some paper. And we'll get this down. And then all that's left really is to put some embellishments on it. So this card, super quick, and yet I love it with that, and that stitched Greenery Die really does it for me. So, whoops. There we go. Okay. Almost there, I promise. And that is it. So here we go. We'll get that down. And now I'm going to go ahead and put one of each of the colors down. I figure because I'm highlighting each of the new in colors here with the strips that I'm going to do the same thing with the embellishments. So let's go with that. These come in like the large and the small sizes. So let's get here. These are my two favorite right here. I'll be honest with you on that one. So, and here's this one. And now get something up here. There we go. And now which color don't I have? I think this one here. The Orchid Oasis. And there. I mean, those embellishments really, I think, help to tie in all of those colors. So, well, I hope you're as excited as I am about these new in colors. A couple things, if you haven't gotten your collection yet, as I like to call them. I have an in color club, which each month for the next 5 months, you will receive a fun package in the mail featuring different items of that color, that particular color. And along with it, you will also receive supplies, all the consumables in which to create 8 cards then too, using that color. Now, if you're like, you know what, I want it now, which I usually am like that. Stampin' Up! Is running a wonderful special right now for those that sign up. When you purchase the starter kit, $99, $125 worth of product is what you get to pick. It's shipped to you free. Also within your package that you will receive then with all of those products that you picked, you are going to get all of the new in color ink pads. You're going to get some cardstock, an assortment of cardstock. You're going to get some, let me think, I want to say the designer series paper. So it was going to be like this design here, the polka dots. Over here's the plaid, the stripe. You'll get a pack of that. And you will also get the grid paper. I don't even have the grid paper yet. It looks fun, so I'm going to have to get that myself. That is a total of a little over $66 free. I mean, how amazing is that? So there's a lot of free stuff that's happening there. So you have your choice of either one. So don't miss out, because it only goes until the end of the month. So both my club for this month will end at the end of the month, because then I will be flipping over to the next new in color to send out. So anyway, hey, I would be happy to answer any questions you might have. Feel free to leave a comment. I can get back to you. Anyway, I think I've babbled on enough, and I want to wish you a great, great week, and I will see you next Sunday. All right, guys. Hey, thanks much. Bye now.